Fellow citizens, Hong Kong is facing a new wave of COVID-19 infections.
That was the warning from Hong Kong's chief executive Carrie Lam last month as the government announced its strictest ever set of social distancing guidelines in a bid to beat the outbreak. While the daily number of new cases has eased since then, those guidelines are still in place, including the mandatory wearing of face masks and the closure of all public facilities such as Hong Kong's beaches, sports centres and picnic sites. Hong Kong University microbiologist Siddharth Sridhar says that this latest third wave is much more worrying than the previous two.
This time around, we find that most of the cases that are being reported every day are acquired locally. And what's more, they're actually getting it from sources that are unclear. We don't know where they're getting the virus, and that adds to the uncertainty and confusion this time around.
The government is now offering free COVID-19 tests for every one of its 7.5 million residents and has invited medical experts from China to help direct the mass testing program. It's a different story in Beijing. Restaurants and cinemas are open, schools and universities are preparing to restart, and domestic tourism is on the rise. A second wave of the virus that began in June was all but eliminated by early August, and authorities say recent outbreaks in the far northwest and northeast of the country are also now under control. Meanwhile, in the city of Wuhan, where the pandemic is thought to have originated, videos of a huge water park party have gone viral as many of the city's residents celebrated a return to normal life. South Korea is facing a new challenge. Just weeks ago, baseball fans were enjoying the resumption of the country's National League, albeit with social distancing at the stadia. But now a new outbreak has put a stop to that and much of the rest of the city's social life, with hundreds of new cases being reported every day in the past week. More than 450 cases are linked to this church, a statistic that has prompted the government to shut down all religious gatherings in the capital, Seoul. One pastor from a different local church said he was increasingly worried about the scale of the outbreak.
I hope it ends soon. We are thoroughly disinfecting places like restaurants, but it's heartbreaking that the virus does not diminish but keeps spreading.
Health officials are now urging people to stay home and warning of a severe impact on the health system and the economy if they don't. Japan is also facing a new struggle against the virus. A new wave of cases in the past 2 months is placing a strain on the country's hospitals and its economy, with GDP contracting at its fastest rate on record last quarter. The latest spread is placing further pressure on organisers of the Tokyo Olympics, which have already been delayed until next summer. There is already talk among Japanese health experts that a vaccine may be the only solution to keeping the Games on schedule. There are certainly promising signs that Asia can play a central role in developing a global vaccine. There are teams here in Hong Kong and in China at various stages of clinical trials, and Beijing has already issued its first vaccine patent to a local drug maker. What's not clear, however, is just how long it might take global regulators to approve any of these vaccine candidates for widespread public use. Richard Kimber, SABC News in Hong Kong.